Major Anna Dzundza, head of the communications department of the 128th Brigade, says that on April the 16th, the Russian troops attacked the Orikhiv direction with a large column, but were defeated. She said this on the Espreso TV channel. The 128th Brigade has been in the Zaporizhzhia sector for quite some time, namely in Orikhiv. Previously, the Russian forces used the tactics of small assault groups using buggies, motorcycles and armoured vehicles to transport infantry. However, recently they decided to act differently, noted Dzundza. According to the head of the communications department of the 128th Brigade, the Russian troops decided to attack in a large group, a column that included tanks and other equipment. Our guys worked very hard and did not let the enemy through. Our reconnaissance men, UAV operators, artillerymen and, of course, infantry did a great job. The Russians suffered significant losses in both manpower and equipment, emphasized Dzundza. Recently, Ukrainian Defense Forces fought off a massive assault by the Russian army in Zaporizhzhia. The invaders used more than 40 armoured vehicles. The Southern Defense Forces of Ukraine stated that the assault commenced on April the 16th. Russian troops deployed over 300 personnel, 40 pieces of equipment and 3 tanks. The invaders tried to advance in the area near Pyatikatki, Stepov, Lobkov, Tokmachka and Mali Shcherbaki. Since the attack was detected by intelligence in advance, it was attacked by drones and artillery. The first armoured combat vehicles that the defence forces detected and destroyed were located 8 kilometres from the front line. The battle lasted approximately 2.5 hours in total. The Ukrainian Defense Forces managed to destroy 29 armoured vehicles, about 10 buggies, 3 tanks and 140 Russian soldiers. They were part of the 58th Combined Arms Army of the Southern Military District of the Russian Federation. This is not the first massive assault by the invaders in the Zaporizhzhia sector, as they tried to attack in this way on April the 13th. The military reported that they had been preparing these assaults for several months. According to intelligence, the Russian army has concentrated several more such assault groups. Therefore, it is possible that it will try to organize more assault operations. In early April, soldiers from the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine and the 128th Mountain Assault Brigade drove the Russian invaders out of the village of Shcherbaki in the Zaporizhzhia sector.
And I was elected because
U.S. President Donald Trump says he expects to hear from Russia this week over peace proposals on the war in Ukraine. According to Associated Press, also during an Oval Office meeting with the Italian Prime Minister, Trump continued his war of words against Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chairman. "Oh, he'll leave," Trump said in the Oval Office as he welcomed Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy. "If I ask him to, he'll be out of there." He did not respond to a follow-up question on whether he would try and remove the Federal Reserve Chairman.
And I was elected because of the fact, I would say maybe that was the number one factor, for a lot of reasons.
How much longer does Vladimir Putin have to respond to your ceasefire proposal before you put secondary tariffs or sanctions on Russia?
We'll see what that will be. We're going to be hearing from them this week, very shortly actually. And we'll see, but we want it to stop. We want the death and the killing to stop.
Mr. President, on Jerome Powell, you said that the termination of Jerome Powell cannot come fast enough. He says he won't leave it, even if you ask him to.
Oh, he'll leave. If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. But
do you believe
I don't think he's.
I don't
think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
So
Yeah, go ahead, please. We've done an amazing job, Tom Ohm, Christine Ohm. We have done an amazing job. Nobody can believe the job we've done. The only thing that's gone up, actually, is interest rates, because we have a Federal Reserve Chairman that is playing politics. somebody that I've never been very fond of, actually. But he's playing politics. Interest rates should be down now. They should be coming down. In Europe, as you know, they reduced them, I guess 7 times. It looks like they're going to reduce them again and again and again. But our guy wants to play cute. But interest rates are pretty much even. Maybe they went up just a slight bit, but that's the only thing. But that's because of the Federal Reserve, because they're not very smart people.
Do you regret nominating him?
Go ahead, yes, sir, please. Go ahead,
Do you
please.
regret nominating him, Jerome Powell?
Look, in the first 4 years, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. Stock market went up 88 points. I think he's terrible, but I can't complain because we had the most successful administration economically in the history of our country. I think we're going to do even better this time because you will see that the numbers that we're taking in are astronomical. We're taking in tremendous amounts of money with the tariffs. We were treated very unfairly on trade, and countries are having a hard time getting used to the fact that they can't do that to us anymore because we have a real president. We have a president that understands.
You waved off an Israeli attack on Iranian nuclear facilities. Can you comment on that? Is that accurate?
And they say the attack is what?
That you waved off an Israeli plan to attack Iranian nuclear facilities recently.
I wouldn't say waved off. I'm not in a rush to do it because I think that Iran has a chance to have a great country and to live happily without death. And I'd like to see that. That's my first option. Fantastically well. I know the Iranian people. They're incredible people. Always have been very smart, very energetic, very successful people. And I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt anybody. I really don't. But Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. It's, pretty simple. It's really simple. We're not looking to take their industry. We're not looking to take their land. All we're saying is you can't have a nuclear weapon. The deal that was made with Obama, that deal would have expired already. It was a terrible deal. It would have expired. The most successful administration economically in the history of.
U.S. President Donald Trump has welcomed Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni to the White House. According to Associated Press, the pair held a bilateral lunch in the cabinet room, and it is scheduled to be followed by a meeting in the Oval Office. Meloni is the first European leader to have a face-to-face with Trump since he announced, and then suspended, 20% tariffs on European exports. She secured the meeting at a critical juncture in the trade war as Italy's leader, but she also has, in a sense, been selected to represent the European Union. The EU is defending what it calls the most important commercial relationship in the world, with annual trade reaching 1.6 trillion euros. Trade negotiations fall under the authority of the Commission, which is pushing for a zero-for-zero tariff deal with Washington. Trump administration officials, in talks with the EU, have yet to publicly show signs of relenting on the president's insistence that a baseline 10% tariff be charged on all foreign imports. Trump paused for 90 days his initial 20% tax on EU products so that negotiations could occur.
We're going to be seeing you in a few minutes, right after lunch, for a press conference in the Oval Office. And I assume you'll all be there. It's the same group. If you had a question or so for the Prime Minister, please, you could ask. Anybody have a question? Okay, good. Then we'll just end it right now.
Prime Minister, you have said that the president's tariffs are wrong. Do you still believe that the United States is a reliable?
They always try to help.
It could only be her.
Should the European Union still believe that the United States is a reliable trade partner?
Well, I'm here exactly to work for make the West stronger. For I believe in the West unity, and I think simply we have to talk
She
and
believes
find
in the
ourselves.
president. She believes in the president.
Also, and find ourselves in the best middle way to grow together. That's why I'm here. So, if I wouldn't think it's a reliable partner, I wouldn't be here.
We have a very good relationship. together, and as countries, we have a very good relationship.
To follow up, Mr. President, what if there is not a trade deal with the EU by the time of the end of your 90-day pause on reciprocal
Oh, there'll be a
tariffs?
trade deal, 100%. Oh, well, you think there won't be? Of course there'll be a trade deal, very much. They want to make one very, very much, and we're going to make a trade deal. I fully expect it, but it'll be a fair deal.
Are they on your priority list?
Everybody's on my priority list.
Mr. President, do you plan to meet with the President at you?
Say it.
Do you plan to meet with the
Wait,
President?
one at a time,
Do
please.
you plan,
No, first, no. You and then what?
do you plan to meet with the President of the EU, Ursula von der Leyen? Do you plan to have other meetings with you leaders as well?
Many. We had a meeting yesterday with Japan. As you know, we've had numerous talks, very, very at the highest level, frankly, with other countries. Yeah, we're doing very well, and we're moving along on trade very well. The United States was ripped off and taken advantage of by every country in the world, practically. I mean, I have to say practically, but just about everyone. That's not going to happen anymore, but we're going to make fair deals.
Mr. President, given talks with Japan and Italy this week, do you expect to announce an initial trade deal with any of these countries by next
At a
week?
certain point, yeah, we're in no rush. We're in no rush. You have to understand we're getting right now 25% on cars, 25% on steel, 25% on aluminum. We're getting a 10% baseline. We took that down just because it was, the appropriate thing to do until we decide what the number will be. And we're, taking in a lot.